Fantastic. Always a pleasure, Mark, always a pleasure. No, I'm up here because the posters couldn't take another round of Don. So when I came in tonight, there were two beautiful women at my table who moved apart, beckoned me to sit down, and I thought, this is exactly what I thought the Open Source Awards would be like. And as soon as I got up to the dunnies, they went back together again and haven't separated all night. So it is just like high school was for me, which is why I was a bit nervous that we were going to have a People's Choice Award, because I don't think many of us had a great time at high school, and popular choice was not something that we particularly relished. But we're extremely fortunate to be in a community that builds people up rather than tears them down, a community that celebrates achievement rather than resents it, and a community that works together to ensure that there is a lot more of it. So, except for those two in the corner, but we won't talk about that. So the history of popular choice awards on the internet is colourful, to say the least. You might remember Time magazine's Person of the Year a couple of years ago turned out to be Moot, who is the guy who runs 4chan, which is the origin of the group Anonymous, which has been coordinating large numbers of attacks against questionable public figures and organisations. And basically they gamed the internet polling site. And this wasn't new. I'd seen this happen maybe 10 years earlier, when in the early days of the internet, the first large-scale Player of the Year poll was run by ESPN in the States. And my friend Pudge wrote a Perl script that robo-voted, and his player soared to the top. And of course they adamantly claimed that there had been no fraud whatsoever. But he was quite willing to be corrected, even though his player did win. So he got the last laugh on them. We've been very strict in our judging there. No robo-voting was permitted. Every vote came from a human being, an alive one, because if we can have the first People's Choice Award, the nominee here, Leanne Dalziel, as a member of Parliament and the chair of the Commerce Select Committee, she is responsible for shepherding the patents bill through the Select Committee process. And it would be fair to say that it is an issue that is close to many of our hearts, as evidenced by the references that were made earlier to it. What's also near and dear to our hearts is the fact that in New Zealand we don't have an easily purchased government. We don't have a process that is corrupt, a process that is questionable, that people can't believe in. That we are incredibly fortunate that the worst scandal to strike New Zealand politics in the last couple of years has been an MP putting porn on the credit card. Oh my God, the fuss over that. I lived in America for 10 years. You buggers don't know how good you've got it. And it was this spirit of independence, of freedom from undue influence that is really respected in this nomination here. And the decision that came back, I don't think either side was able to take it for granted until it had been announced. It wasn't a clear case of preference for one side or the other. It was a case of listening to everybody and making a very informed decision. So can we have a round of applause, please, for Leanne Dalziel? I have a confession to make, and that is I'd like to apologise basically to anybody with whom I've screwed up a phone call or a meeting time by virtue of not being able to operate my calendar. I have a huge amount of respect for Andrew McMillan here, whose project DavICal is attempting to integrate a read-write server with the group calendaring back end so that we can share and unite our calendars and make our calendars work for us instead of the other way around. The most amazing thing about the DavICal project really is that it all came out of this one man, and yet his reach across large numbers of organisations who all share the same problem of people being incompetent with their calendars and calendaring software not being great, he's helped them enormously. So please give a round of applause here to Andrew McMillan. The next finalist is Mark Osborne, and we've heard about his courageous decision to go the route that is best for the kids, not the route that is easiest, and the one that makes them complicit in all sorts of sins against software. So I won't reiterate the marvellous achievements that he has, but I think we should reward him with another round of applause. If you had to pick the most startling open source project to get a nomination this year, I would definitely choose Te Manako, which is the project to create free and open source software for the inside of a car. I'm sorry? And hardware, sorry, thank you. For the inside of an all-electric full-scale racing car. And I've seen this, and this embodies just large amounts of sex, the car. It is a mighty attractive thing. And that was possibly the most startling part about it. But the fact, you say open source car. And my first reaction was, oh Christ, that's going to be great. There'll be cars on the side of the road with people asking, do you have a Linux driver for a Ford command? And then I thought, actually, what's the alternative? Do you want the software in your car being written by the people who create the blue screens of death on ATM machines and airport terminals around the world? Christ, no. So this is a fantastic project. Please give Te Manako and Philip Court in particular a round of applause. The next finalist, Amie McCarron, is eminently wahooable. She worked for 9 months and she built 3 websites for Alcoholics Anonymous using a single open source CMS. The project was funded only by the AA member contributions, and that's Alcoholics Anonymous, that's not the Automobile Association, so they're generally not the flush ones. And they had a very limited budget. This is a case of going a long way with not much and doing some extremely good work along the way. As I look around at the empty wine bottles and the empty glasses, I think there's going to be some very busy sights tomorrow, as you all regret what you've done tonight. But they used the free and open source software that we all love so much to make that budget go further and to do something that undoubtedly created a huge positive effort in the world. So please, a round of applause for Amie. And the final finalist is the NZOSS Public Sector Remix. And this was launched in August 2009 and had 14 government agencies involved, facilitated by the New Zealand Open Source Society. And the idea was to take the decision to use free and open source software on the desktop out of the realm of fear, uncertainty, and doubt, and into the realm of fact-based, evidence-based decision-making. Because until that point, it had been rumour, hearsay, and in some cases, blind bigotry that was making the decisions. So it was fantastic to see a bit of fact introduced into the government purchasing program. Long may that live. And John Rankin, in particular, was instrumental in making this project happen. And it's a tribute to New Zealand that our government is taking these steps to figure out this stuff on a credible, fact-based basis. So please give a round of applause for the Public Sector Remix. As a judge, I know how extremely tight this category was. There are a lot of amazing projects out there. So the People's Choice Award goes to Amie McCarron.
I did prepare something just in case. Thank you, everyone. This is just such a huge honour. Having my own small business, I pretty much only use open source software. And I think that these awards are an amazing way of showing and promoting the benefits and use of open source, that it helps show that people, that anyone really can have a customised and often more affordable solution. I personally think that open source, being able to take any software and customise it to meet your needs, actually encourages innovation and trying things that at one time you may have thought impossible. I know myself, I have learnt so much in those 9 months working on the redevelopment of the Alcoholics Anonymous websites. Working along with AA, we came up with 3 targeted websites, and they were designed to appeal and help people of any age, from teens to elderly and from all backgrounds and ethnic groups, trying to change the view of the AA organisation. And with all the discussion around the culture of drinking in New Zealand, it has been a very important cause to work with and support, and I thank them as client for being so patient and a pleasure to work with. I'd also like to thank everyone who is involved in making this event happen, and especially those who took the time to review all the finalists, and everyone was so worthy, and it's just really great that everyone supported it, and an honour to be recognised amongst such amazing talent in this room. So thank you all very much.
Thank you.